Well, hello and welcome to Newscentre. Now, fugitive businessman Nirav Modi, who faces multiple charges in India for his alleged involvement in the Punjab National Bank scam, has lost his bid to appeal against his extradition order in UK's Supreme Court. Now, the development came after Indian authorities submitted their legal response to the application filed by the fugitive businessman seeking permission to appeal against the extradition order. Sanjay Suri now joins us from London. Sanjay, tell us, yet another setback for Nirav Modi. Does this pave the way for his extradition, or are we expecting more speed bumps on the way?
Well, a lot of speed bumps are waiting down the road, but this itself is not a major triumph. This was sort of as expected. Nirav Modi was expected to launch an appeal before the appeals court to have a permission then to appeal to the Supreme Court, and that permission, that certification has been refused. The Supreme Court in the UK does not work like the Supreme Court in India. It is not an appellate court for a High Court decision. The Supreme Court only considers matters that are of basic law and public importance, and the High Court said this is not such a matter and therefore refused leave to appeal. This now means that the legal course that Nirav Modi had sought to work in the extradition matter is now closed. There is no avenue left to him. There is a possibility he could go to the European Court of Human Rights. That is not likely to get him anywhere either. And on the extradition track, he's clearly lost out finally. The question there is whether he is going to be on his way back to India. Not certain at all, because he has applied for asylum. That is a parallel track, and that can block any physical extradition. We'll have to see how that one plays out.
Let me ask you a supplementary question, Sanjay. In terms of legal remedies available to Nirav Modi, we've seen in the Vijay Mallya case that he's undertaking some kind of secret proceedings that his lawyers are not familiar with, even the centre is not familiar with. Reports suggest they appear to be asylum proceedings. Tell us about the legal remedies available to Nirav Modi.
Well, the legal remedy is one that he has taken already, which is he has made the parallel move to seek asylum. And as we saw in the case of Vijay Mallya, as you point out, Vijay Mallya too lost the case, the extradition case, and he did so finally. He too was refused permission to appeal to the Supreme Court on similar grounds, but he is still here, and this has been a while. And Nirav Modi has also sought political asylum, and this is a huge lacuna in British law, where the extradition law can be worked and invoked by the Indian government, as it did, and then the Indian government has won in the case of Nirav Modi, and it won in the case of Vijay Mallya, but has not succeeded in securing physical extradition, because there is this inviting parallel track waiting and available to any fugitive to then undercut the whole extradition process. Vijay Mallya has used that successfully so far, and so has Nirav Modi tapped that route. So the other path is waiting. So that is the principal speed bump along the route that you were alluding to.
And one final question, Sanjay. Historically, we've seen that the establishment, especially the judiciary in the UK, chooses to err on the side of abundant caution, and that is with respect to human rights. They do not want to fall foul of any international standards. Can you give us a sense of what this historical precedent would mean for these future proceedings that are currently pending there for Vijay Mallya, for Nirav Modi?
Well, on the extradition matter, we have broken new ground here. The Indian government has certainly broken new ground here. The Indian government has never had the kind of success before that it had with Vijay Mallya, and then again with Nirav Modi. These are fugitives sought in India for very, very big financial frauds, and the Indian government has succeeded. And the human rights argument was one of the main arguments that was presented by both Vijay Mallya earlier and Nirav Modi now in court, saying that extradition would be a violation of their human rights, that they would not get a right to fair trial, that the detention conditions themselves would be inhuman. All these arguments were made, but on these occasions, the court upheld the Indian government's case. It accepted the Indian government's assurances that dedicated facilities have been set up, Barrack 12 particularly in Arthur Road Jail in Mumbai, where the detention conditions would be acceptable, more than acceptable. They would be transparent, available for views and inspection. So the human rights argument was put to one side. But now it is not a matter only for the courts, because the government itself has provided another legal avenue for someone like Vijay Mallya and now Nirav Modi to work. And that is the path they're going down now and staying on for that reason.
Right. Thanks a lot for those updates coming in from London. As we're beginning to get a picture that this may not be perhaps the final word, that there may be many more speed bumps on the way. But let's move forward now. Thousands of Indians are at risk of being deported from the United